Okay everyone, this is Gladys Grace. I wanted to just come and just do a quick video. Let me just turn this off real quick. I can't even tell if this is I need a mirror. I need a mirror. Am I in focus? This color rendering is not so great. I'm using my mirror. I'm using my mirror to see if I'm in focus. I can see the color rendering is not so great. Well, I'm at my window and I'm not exactly sure what settings that I have my camera on right now, but I do have it in the movie mode now. The only light that is actually in this footage is the light that is coming through my window to my far left, and I have this single light right here. Sorry for flashing that. So just wanted you guys to kind of see what this camera is capable of. Now, given it all depends on the lens that you're using. I am currently using the Sigma 19 millimeter 2.8. And this is, of course, is for the one for the E-mount for the Sony camera, which I have. Right now, I can't say exactly, I don't feel like the camera is rendering exactly my skin tone. I do see a little bit of a green tint, but I can actually fix that in post. For the most part, it doesn't look horrible, but I can bring up a little bit of a warmth by maybe adding a little bit more blue to this to kind of cancel out that green. And so I've really just been testing this camera this whole week so far. I believe I got my equipment on Monday. I got my shipping on Monday, and I've basically been recording randomly. I haven't had an opportunity to really record anything on the outdoors. It's pretty much been indoors because I get home pretty late in the evening. So I haven't really had the opportunity. I did bought a Sony indoors because I get home pretty late in the evening, so I haven't really had the opportunity. I did bought a Sony, I think the lowest aperture is 3.5, which is the 16 to 50 millimeter. I did a vlog post earlier this morning just kind of mentioning about the kit that I got from Adorama, which was under $500, I believe. I will try to post or post a link of that specific from Adorama, if it is still available. You actually can create your own kit if you want to just get the camera body, get a lens separately, or if you have a lens, or if you have your old Sony lens. Really, all you would, if you have old Canon lens, you really just need an adapter. You may lose a half a stop or so, but you can use your old Canon lens, or you can still use your Nikon lens or what have you. Basically, you just need an adapter to attach to the E-mount of your Sony camera. Okay, and so it looks like my background seems very out of focus, which is called bokeh out there in the photography world. And because I can't really see much of the background, because as I indicated, I just have one light on with just the window here to my far left. That is the only light that I have coming through this camera, and given the fact that this aperture is 2.5, it is letting in more light. If this was a 3.5 or higher aperture, then, or a lower aperture, it's kind of like aperture settings is pretty much in reverse. Okay, meaning the smaller the number, the bigger the opening, and the bigger the number, the smaller the opening of the eyes of the lens. Okay, so it kind of works in reverse. Okay, so smaller number, more light, bigger number, less light. Just think of it that way, okay? So yes, I'm shooting on the Sigma, which is the DN for the Sony E-mount mirrorless camera. And so I'm gonna go ahead and upload this tiny footage in Davinci Resolve. I mentioned on my vlog earlier too as well that I think I'm going to start editing my footage on Davinci Resolve. I'm not really going to bother with iMovie as much. I don't feel like iMovie has enough features in comparison to Davinci Resolve. You can download the free software version. The pro version is $2.99. I feel like for the free version, it's an amazing software. You have an abundant amount of features on that alone in comparison to what's available on iMovie. That's for those that do have a Mac. And for those that do run Windows or Mac, the Davinci Resolve is available for both platform. I believe as well as Linux. If I'm not mistaken, if you run Linux, you can download Davinci Resolve as well. For those that are in that do pro work or more extensive editing, I really personally feel like just using this for the few times that I'm using DaVinci Resolve. Like I said, I've used it a long time ago when I was into vlogging, but at the time it did not have as much features as it does right now. But what I can say is that from the last time that I've used it to now using this version, it's like leaps and bounds in comparison to the features that is currently available on the DaVinci Resolve free version. If I were to ever in the future get into really editing, vlogging extensively, I would not hesitate in buying the pro version. I love the layout of it. Yes, I've used Final Cut Pro in the past, not extensively. Final Cut Pro is nice, but at the time I feel like it's pricey. But in comparison to Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve Pro version, I believe the price point is about the same. But I really love what DaVinci Resolve has to offer in comparison, and you guys can go ahead and check it out. Before you dive into purchasing the pro version, definitely check out the free version and you can upgrade at a later date. But I just wanted to come and show you guys what this camera is capable of doing for those that are interested in upgrading to a mirrorless camera. This is the Sony A6000. I bought this at a rating of excellent, meaning it is maybe a used, sort of like a demo. It's in excellent condition. I don't see not 1 ounce of scratch. It actually looks brand new. And I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to return it and maybe go back to Canon or upgrading my current Canon camera. I do have a Canon 60D, and I was looking into upgrading to maybe the Canon 80D. Currently, I am holding this with my hand, and I've been holding this for quite some time, as you guys can see, but in comparison to if I was holding the Canon 80D, I think my hand would have been suffering at this point, and I'd have been like, okay guys, I've got to go, because obviously the Canon 80D body is a lot more bulkier, it's much more heavier, and with this lens that I have, which is the Sigma 19mm, as mentioned before, this is very light, okay? And so anyway, this was just a short clip, and I'm going to go ahead and upload this in DaVinci Resolve, and then that way you guys can see the difference between. I will try to do a before and after of this footage and how the edited version look in DaVinci Resolve. Okay, anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and comment below and let me know what you guys would like to see in the near future, and I will see you guys in the next video.